PM Made Easy. Hello all, welcome back to my channel. I am Priya and presenting the third lesson of our project management series. Thank you to all those who have subscribed to my channel and hope you have gained some knowledge in the last two lessons. Little bit about myself for the new viewers. I have more than a decade of project management experience. I started my maiden series to mentor and share my learnings and experiences that will help our future project managers in the workforce. So, lesson number 3, and it is on project life cycle. And before we get into the details, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Let's get going. The agenda for lesson number 3. We will go through the objective again, recap of lesson 2, project life cycle definition, the phases of project life cycle, the differences between the process and the phases, the light bulb movement, and lastly, the homework. The objective is the standing objective that we have been covering for the last two lessons. This basic series will be covered in 11 lessons. Each lesson will be around 10 to 15 minutes long. Each lesson will explore project management in a corporate and personal space. And I kept the series and the lessons very simple, easy to understand. And my goal here is to make project management interesting to all of you and to build our future workforce of the project managers. So explore project management to relaunch your career. Let's do a quick recap of lesson 2. We learned about the project that it is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. Project pillars are 4 P's, that are product, people, process, and project. We have 5 process groups, which are initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and control, also called MNC, and close. And finally, we are also observing that we do apply project management in our day-to-day life, just that we are doing it totally unaware. Now let's look at what is project life cycle. And since we are talking about project life cycle, revisit what is a project. So project is a temporary event which ultimately creates a unique product, service, or a result. And it is a series of structured tasks, activities, and deliverables that are executed in order to get a desired outcome. And few examples of the projects are like application development, building a home, launching a product, some promo campaigns or some relief efforts that we undertake. So these are all the project examples. Now let's look at what is project life cycle. So every project has a project life cycle, and these are different stages that a project will go through from start to finish. So it's basically a framework that project managers and team used, and these are typically 5 phases in a PLC, and these phases are also called as stages. So once again, to repeat, what is a PLC or a project life cycle? It's a basic framework wherein a project moves from different stages from start to finish, and they are typically 5 in number. And they are also called stages, or some people call it phases. Now let's look at what are the PLC phases. As I mentioned, typically there are 5 phases, and the 5 phases are initiation, planning, execution, MNC, and finally the closure. And I have provided some tasks that are part of each of these phases. For example, under initiation, we talk about the scope, the goal, budget, schedule. Under monitoring and control, we talk about what is the project progress is, how is the team performing, what are the risks, how do we mitigate them. And when the project come for a closure, we talk about whether all the tasks were completed as per the project plan, and the project plan was done in a planning phase, whether the project is accepted, what are the documentation. So these are the 5 different phases of PLC. Now, if you have gone through lesson number 2, or you are going to look into lesson number 2 after coming to this particular video, you should be confused. I was confused when I started project management. And the confusion was, what is the difference between phases and process groups? Or is there a similarity? So let's look at it. The PLC phases are initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and control, and closure. And the process groups are initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and control, and closure. So they are similar. And if they are indeed similar, then what was the need of having phases and process groups? So let's go a little bit into details on this. As we just learned, the PLC phases are that each project lifecycle represent different phases from start to finish, and they are typically 5 in number. But the important thing to remember here is these 5 phases are typically 5 phases, but they can vary by project type, and they can also have a different name of the phase. For example, in certain organization or a, a particular project, instead of 5 phases, we can have only 4 phases, wherein 2 phases are combined together. Or in certain cases, the execution phase might be called as development phase. So remember, for phases, they are typically 5, but the number can change and the names of the phases can also change. Now for process groups, the processes doesn't change. They are grouped into 5 process groups. And important thing to remember here is these processes are applied to each phase of the project life cycle. Once again, processes, all the 5 processes are applied to each phase of the project life cycle, and those phases can be 4, could be 6, but 5 process groups are applied to each phase. I hope there is a little bit of clarity now on the similarity slash differences between the phases and the groups. Once again, I request that don't be too hard on yourself. You're still learning about project management. So the more you will learn, the more clarity it will come. So let's revisit again the phases from 30,000 feet high. We have 5 typical phases: initiation, planning, execution, MNC, and closure. And for each of these phases, the process groups are applied. Now, let's take this into our daily life. Let's take the phase as planning and revisit the same project as lesson 2, which was a grocery shopping. We were going for grocery shopping. So under planning phase, what are the tasks? We decide on the action plan, the project plan, the communication, the risk and mitigation. We plan on this. And now let us see how do we apply, or how we actually apply the process group for the planning phase. So what is the plan? We want to buy groceries of 2 tomatoes and 1 fresh bread from XYZ store. So let's look at the process groups. So under process group, initiation, we start the process to plan to buy the grocery, right? We are thinking about it that, hey, we want to go and buy grocery. So that is the initiation. Under planning, we plan on which store to buy, what quantity, what pricing, who all from the family will go for grocery shopping. Under the execution process group, we make the grocery list either on a paper or a phone. We decide on what is the transportation, what is it available, and all that stuff. Under monitoring and control, we make sure that the list is as per the scope or as per the plan. And the plan is to buy 2 tomatoes and 1 fresh bread. We make sure that all the members who were to come with us are actually willing to go with us. The store is open, there are no roadblocks, etc. And as a part of closing, once we know all the first 4 steps are aligned, our plan gets finalized. We take the plan and then we go for the next phase of the project. So this is how, when we compare what we do in our daily life, things become little more clearer. Now let's look at the light bulb movement. Now the people who have seen my first 2 videos, they know what the light bulb movement is, something which I want to share with you all that strikes to me as a part of project management. So for initiation phase, begin with the end in mind. So it's such a deep statement, right? We start the initiation phase, we begin something knowing what is our goal, what is we want to deliver, what is there, a product, a service, or a result. So we begin with the end in mind. Let's do some homework now. The homework is revisit the definition of project, understand what the project is, and then take 3 examples of the project that you have come across and belonging to a product, a service, or a result. And share your homework in the comment section, and I will surely respond to the comments. In the next lesson, we will go through PM methodology. And thank you so much for watching this video. And I hope you are enjoying the basic series. And before I close, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you all.